Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Late Night Yap podcast, where I, your host, Lexiee, reads all of your favorite Reddit stories so you don't have to. We are now on episode 6. Wow. We're getting somewhere, you guys. And I'm loving it. I'm loving it. We're getting far. I'm also really enjoying editing these and sharing these stories with you guys. So I hope that in the future you all keep watching and loving everything that I am doing. Now, Instagram has kind of taken off a little bit more than TikTok, so go Instagram. And I did ask on there, I made a post like kind of asking what are things that I can change, things I can do differently to make kind of a better experience for you guys. And I have gotten a little bit of feedback. So, one of the feedbacks that I got was that I talk way too slow. And I kind of agree. I do talk a little bit slow. But to be fair, I have a hard time reading certain things. And sometimes I mess up, and then sometimes I say things and I'm like, ew, why did I say it like that? So, I try to like talk slow so I don't mess up as much. So, now I'm starting to realize that talking slow is kind of like it doesn't sound very good. So that was something I do agree on, and I'm working on that. I'm going to try to talk a little bit faster so that way is a lot easier for you guys. But the thing is that sometimes I can talk way too fast. So if I am talking too fast now, just let me know. But on Reels on I think like Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, if you press like the side of the phone, it puts the video in times two. So any of the old videos where I am talking incredibly slow and reading the story really, really freaking slow, just press that to the side and it'll speed it up for you so that way you don't have to listen to me mundanely talk like an idiot. So, one of the other things was here, let me push this up a little bit and get my little guy here so you can see him. It's Pain from Naruto. Almighty push. Okay, anyways, that was enough. That's in my Naruto shirt, you guys. I came prepared today with the Naruto stuff in my tattoo that I love so very much. Anyways, off topic, but back to the topic. What were we talking about again? Oh, yeah. On my socials, where I post my other stories like Instagram and YouTube shorts, they only allow you, well, okay, so Instagram, I can post longer videos, but they don't push it out to the For You page. So only the people that are following me will see stories that are longer than a certain amount of time. And because I'm such a small channel, I don't want to immediately put out large stories like that and not put them into separate parts, only because I'm still trying to get noticed and still trying to get recognized. Now, once we get to a point where we have a certain amount of followers, I can definitely start doing them where they're not in parts anymore and it's just one full story, unless it's just way too long for the platform. But YouTube Shorts specifically only allows you to post a 3-minute video. So, unfortunately, I cannot post anything longer than 3 minutes, so I still have to set it up in like different parts, anyways. The only platform that allows me to post longer videos besides an actual YouTube video is TikTok. And I think you can post up to at least 10 to 15-minute like uploaded videos on TikTok. On there, I can maybe not split it into parts, but on Instagram and YouTube, I still have to split them up anyway. So I just kept doing it for TikTok. But I think because it's a different platform, I'm gonna have to just make one video. So if you don't get the full video right away on Instagram, you can always follow me on TikTok, which the for that is still Late Night Yap. It's just Late Night Yap, but Yap with two P's. However, I do take into account all of the criticism that you guys give, all of the advice, the input, anything to make it more enjoyable and ingestible for you guys to watch, which also in the end might also make it easier for me to edit all of them. So that way we can all enjoy this little experience, because I might, like I may do things that like the other bigger podcasters are doing, but there's a lot of things that I do a little bit differently. than they do. And I know, like, I don't know exactly how they edit any of their stuff either because it's probably also very different from the way that I edit my stuff. So, if you haven't already, if you want to follow the Late Night Yap subreddit, you can also submit your own stories to me if you would like for me to read them. Also, if you guys are enjoying these videos, please give me a like and subscribe down below so that I can continue making videos just like this for all of you to enjoy. For a small channel, one follow can go such a long way in the end. So, and I thank everyone who has been supporting me and, you know, just commenting on all the, oh God, commenting on all the stories and interacting. I love seeing all of your guys' responses. Everybody has a different point of view, a different way of looking at something. So it's really awesome to see that. Honestly, it's changed my thinking a little bit on a few of these stories. So I will give it to y'all on that one. Because at first I'd be like, you're the asshole. And then I'm like, wait, are they really though? And then I kind of changed my mind a little bit based on like what you guys are saying. And I'm like, you know what? That's a really great way of thinking that, you know? So, and I enjoy the community. I don't really have a lot of people to talk to other than my kid. And he's autistic and he sometimes just talks in baby babble. So, he's got this word that he's saying right now, which is Okonos, and I'm not really sure what the heck an Okonos is. So it's been about a month now, and we're still trying to figure out Okonos, and I have no idea what that is. He also calls his chocolate milk and Chick-fil-A, he calls it chicken-a. So if he wants chocolate milk, he calls it, well, it's actually chocolate milk is chocolate and Chick-fil-A is chicken-a. So he's got a very unique way of talking. And unfortunately, my neighbors are very loud and stomp and have been actually tonight throwing stuff into the floor. And I think right now it's almost 12 o'clock and they were doing it until like about 30 minutes ago. So love that. For me, just love it. And on that note, just to give everyone a heads up, we are moving. Thank God, because I'm sick of these friggin' people are driving me nuts. Drive me insane. Literally. And so I'm trying not to talk too loud because I don't want to disturb them because they're sleeping now. But yes, we are moving in about 6 weeks. So I've just looked at houses tonight and then we're going to send them over to the realtor in the morning. And hopefully within the next week I can go shop and look at them in person and see what they look like. And hopefully they are not musty and moldy because the last house that we had was full of mold. And it was really difficult because I have a lot of like sensitivities, like allergies. And living in the mold was just, I was so sick. It was bad. It was so bad, and I don't want to live like that again. So hopefully I get to see all these houses in person so I can decide for myself if it smells moldy. If it smells moldy, it ain't happening. But yeah, so and then I have to get boxes and start packing all this stuff and getting rid of stuff we don't need. Man, and go from there. Yay, love that for me. It's only been a year and I'm moving again. But hopefully the next place that we go to, we can stay at for a couple of years and not have to move anytime soon because I don't want to do it. I hate moving so much. So much. But in that note, I just want to say really quick, if there is like a point where I don't post for like maybe 5 days, it's because I moved, but I'm going to try to utilize the features that these apps give you and set like preset, but I've tried that on YouTube though, and I don't think it worked. But basically you can preset like the date and the time that you want like the app to post the video for you. And I've tried it on Instagram and sometimes it never posts. Like I tried it on my personal Instagram like maybe a couple months ago, and it never posted it, so I don't know. But I'm gonna try it. But if anything happens and something doesn't get posted, or maybe like I don't post for that day, I apologize because I do want to post every day and I do want to have a story or like a video out on YouTube every Tuesday. So I was thinking within the next couple of weeks, I'm probably going to pre-record at least 3 episodes to post, but I might wait until like I have to pack this stuff up. So because we have to leave like August 26th and right now it's almost the beginning of July. So I still have a little bit of time, but I think near the end of July I'll probably pre-record at least 2 or 3 episodes. That way I can kind of get like the podcast stuff set up because I'm going to have it in like a different room. So I have to reset up everything that I have right now. And unfortunately, the TV that I have that I use for my gaming and stuff is going to go into another bedroom and then I'm not going to have, and I don't have a desk either. I'm using a $10 Walmart table to hold my laptop and my phone. And I'm using my phone camera to record. I don't know. We real ghetto in this. We doing it, dang, okay? We're moving on and we are going to start reading some stories now that I have just ranted my whole life to you and I am so sorry. But I guess that's kind of the point of the podcast though. So I guess it doesn't matter. Oh, also, you guys, I got my hair done again, and look, I dyed the roots. My lady does so good. She make me look so pretty. She always makes me look pretty. This is the second time I went to her, and I love what she's done. I love it. I love it. I kind of last minute sprung on her that I wanted my roots dyed, so I was there. I was there from like 10 a.m. until like almost 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah, so, but she always does exactly what I ask her, and she does such a great job. And this pink, poppin'. I freaking love it. It was a lot brighter, but I washed my hair for the first time today. So, but I do have a conditioner that I use called Color Lux. Now, if you do follow my personal social medias, which is at Lexiee, I post a bunch of random crap on there. I mostly do cooking stuff or like making drinks or like making food or whatever on there. So that's like the main thing I do. But I've started talking about my video gaming and my anime love of anime because I don't know. People are just they're so mean when it comes to like video games. Like men are really mean and they call you fat or like ugly or like sorry, I don't look like a freaking Barbie doll. I don't know. And you know what the funny thing is about that is when I was like 125 pounds and I was posting on TikTok back in like 2016 when I was actually like a little kid. That's another story, which we'll get to that in a second. But when I was posting like nobody watched my stuff. Nobody cared about my stuff. Nobody even cared who I was. Nobody wanted to see my stuff. Nobody watched. Nobody liked it. Nobody cared. Okay. Now that I've gained 40 pounds after having a baby, I have way more views, way more attention than that. And I was like 20 back then, like 21 when I first started like seriously posting content. I'm 29 now. So, I'm just gonna be honest, it don't matter what you look like, your weight, your height, it don't matter. People You will find your people eventually. This is for content creators specifically that I'm talking to right now. So if you're a content creator, don't put yourself in a box, okay? Because I'm telling you right now, you think that like, oh, if I do this one thing differently, then maybe I'll go viral, or maybe if I did this one thing, changed this one thing, it would have went viral. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter at all what you do. If it goes viral, it's going to go viral regardless. Now, consistency is, what you really want to have, but you also want to work on what you're doing and like practice. And the thing is that a lot of people are not immediately good at something because when it comes to social media, you do kind of have to be a little bit of a videographer. You have to know like what you're doing, like camera wise. You have to be good at talking into the camera. You have to be good. It's entertainment. You're entertaining people. So you want to be entertaining. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, but when I was a kid, I'm telling you, I used to make music. I mean, the music did good though. It wasn't bad. I did get a lot. I have a lot of followers and a lot of people who respect me from when I made music, which is great. I don't make music anymore. I mean, I do sometimes. It depends. Like if it's a friend of mine and they want to make music, then yeah, of course I'm going to make music with you. Like I will always support my friends, which I do plan on bringing some friends onto the podcast, but that would be, later. That way I can kind of like interview them, get their music out there, give them a shout out. You know what I mean? Because all of them were there for me whenever I needed them. And so I think in the future, bringing them on here whenever we're established, because I think you guys would really like my friends. I got some really good friends, actually. Just, just saying. They're good people. And I'm really happy that I have the friends that I have. So, but anyways, yeah, it doesn't matter what you look like, what you do, what you're gonna do, what you did, what you didn't do. Don't worry about that shit. Also, I don't really have a theme for today's video, but I did find an interesting story here. But I think I might read Am I the Asshole stories. Yeah, I think we're just gonna read Am I the Asshole stories for this one because I don't really have any theme that I specifically wanted to go with. Now, when it comes to Halloween, though, I'm telling you guys, for Halloween, we're gonna dress up, we're gonna cosplay, we're gonna read spooky, scary stories, okay? And we're gonna get real ghosty in here. It's gonna be great. You guys are gonna love it. And I'm gonna be happy too. I was thinking, if you do watch anime, then you know who I'm talking about. So I know some people don't watch anime, that's why I keep saying that. But I don't want, okay, and I also don't want this to slide because this blanket is really slippery and it keeps sliding. So unfortunately, the iPad is going here for right now. But I want to dress up as Riruka from Bleach. I think I can do it. Hold on. You know, she has like the pigtails. Let's see what it would look like for a second. See, and I can do like the pigtails. You can't see it because my hand's in the way. But anyways, I was looking at some outfits online that I can do, but since I have like fuchsia hair, I think I can do it. Anyways, that's enough of that. And then I was also thinking of cosplaying Sakura because I also have pink hair, so if you have any other characters that I should cosplay, let me know in the comments so we can have fun for Halloween. And also, you guys, if I do dress up and do stuff for Halloween for like the whole month of October, I want y'all to also dress up with me and then tag me in all of your awesome costumes because I want to see them in like your cosplays and I'll give you guys a shout out on my profile if you're a creator and you do cosplay. Let me know because people love that. People love that kind of stuff. And so do I. I want to see it all. Even if you only have 2 followers, just show me. Show me. I want to see it. Anyways, let's go on and read our first story of the night. Am I the asshole for going behind my wife's back and telling her pregnant sister that she's being cheated on? I have been married to my wife for 3 years. I am 27 and she is 26. My sister in law is 30 and my POS brother in law is 31. I've always had a close relationship with my sister in law. We are friends. Also has a decent connection between my brother-in-law, but not that close, but often talk and we don't get along. My wife and her sister didn't get along as much as you would expect from siblings. It wasn't just normal sibling rivalry, but constant fights and arguments. Anyways, 3 weeks ago, when I was having dinner with my friends, I saw my brother in law with another woman. They were just eating. I didn't think much of it. I wanted to go and greet him, but I kept talking with my friends. After a while, I saw he gave a light kiss to this woman, and I was shocked. I decided not to confront him, and when I got back to my home, I told my wife everything. I told her that her sister is getting cheated on and we need to tell her. My wife said that we should talk to brother in law instead of telling sister, but we should not break their marriage because her sister is pregnant. I was like, WTF? So what if she's pregnant? Her husband is cheating. I tried to convince my wife multiple times that we should tell her sister the truth. I told her that I know you guys don't get along, but she's still your sister and it isn't right, but she asked me to stay out of it. I tried my best to convince my wife, but she either ignored me or said we shouldn't break their marriage. I had enough of her, and yesterday I told her I am coming clean to sister in law. She and I have a great bond, and I can't and won't betray her. My wife said if I tell her the truth, she will not talk to me. I replied, I won't talk to you either if you don't do what's right. Today, I told my sister in law the truth. I went to her place and told her everything. She was doubtful and she asked me to leave. After a few hours, my sister in law called me crying and said what I said was the truth and she shouldn't have doubted me and kicked me out and said that she was leaving. I asked her, where would you go? Do you have money? She said that she does not, but that doesn't matter. I wired her a bit and said that she should call me if she needs help, and she thanked me and said she will only use the money I send if necessary, otherwise, she will return it. My brother in law called my wife, and well, my wife lashed out onto me and said I ruined her family and her sister's life. I said, I thought the moment we got married, your family is mine and my family is yours. Anyway, why are you defending that POS anyways? What about your sister? She didn't reply to me and she's not talking to me either. I tried to talk to her and convince her that it was the right thing to do, but she won't talk to me, so I said, fine, stay angry, and if you want to divorce me, then go ahead. I think I have nuked my marriage, don't know if I was truly right. Personally, I think that OP needs to get with the sister. And the other sister, the wife, and the brother in law can get married and have their time together because they seem like they would be perfect for each other. And also, if I was ever getting cheated on, I would 100% want somebody to tell me whether I was pregnant or not. I would rather know while I was pregnant and not after the baby comes and then find out myself and then know that everybody else knew except for me because that would be even worse. The consensus was not the asshole. Relevant comments. Commenter 1 says, it sounds like your wife supports cheaters, and that should be worrying to you, not the asshole. OP replied and said, I thought about it, and I am concerned about it, but I somewhat think she just asked me not to tell her because my sister is pregnant and it will cause her stress. That's what I think is the truth. If I hide it and support my wife, I am in the wrong. If I tell her the truth after she gives birth, then I am still wrong. If I hide it forever, I am wrong. Like, what am I supposed to do? Cover up for the betrayer and not help my family? Even my wife is angry at me, and I will probably lose her if I already haven't. Commenter 2 says, not the asshole. If I were you, I would sleep with one eye open. Your wife has no moral standards. Commenter 3 said, I'm surprised your wife wouldn't tell your sister. To be honest, I think the wife could be cheating with the brother-in-law. That's a conspiracy right there. There is an update. This is update number 1, but conspiracy theories first. I think the wife and the brother-in-law are cheating, and that's why she didn't want him to know. You know what I'm saying? And like she maybe don't care if he's seeing other people. But I think because the comments there, I mean it's true. Why was the wife so adamant on not wanting to tell the sister? And she didn't specifically just come out and say, "Oh, it's because she's pregnant," because if she did, you would have said that initially. So I don't think that's the real issue. I don't know. I don't know. All right, let's get into the update. It's been a few days since I told my wife's sister that her husband is a cheat. Just to clarify to all the weirdos, I am not in love with my sister in law. Hey, you know what? Your sister-in-law deserves you though, bro. Your wife don't. You're a good man. I don't have any inappropriate relation or feeling for her. I respect her and she is family. Honestly though, as like someone who doesn't have siblings, I can't really say for sure specifically because I'm an only child. But if I did have a sibling though, I would want their like husband or whatever to be just as a part of the family because you guys are married, you know what I mean? So it would be really awkward if you guys didn't spend the rest of your life being family oriented with that person. You know what I'm trying to say? I don't know. It's just weird to exclude somebody's spouse that they're going to be with for the rest of their life, possibly. You know? Don't just like, I don't know. In any case, yesterday I asked my wife why she's pissed and wanted me not to reveal the truth to her sister. I know you guys hate each other, but you guys are siblings. My wife said it's not our place to interfere. I asked if you're okay with your sister being cheated on. She said she wasn't, but it will and has ruined their marriage because of my stupidity. She's pregnant and the child needs his father and the wife. I was so shocked when she said that. Like, WTF. I asked her if I were to cheat on you, would you forgive me? She said yes. I also asked her if she ever cheats on me, would she hide it from me? And she also said yes to that. Oh my God, what? I was so shocked. I asked her if she knows what she's saying, and she said yes, she's confident, but just because you had spicy sleep with someone else doesn't mean everyone else has to suffer and break the family. Bro, she's jumping that freaking brother-in-law. I'm telling you right now. They are doing the bang 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 diggity dang in that bed. I had no words to say. I told her that I also sent my sister-in-law money. Ugh, why did you tell her that? Don't tell her that. Your wife is freaking crazy, bro. Keep that to yourself. She started screaming at me and said I shouldn't have helped her despite knowing that she doesn't like her sister. I said if that's what she thinks, then it's better if we just divorce. She got angry and screamed fine and started packing her bag. She going to the brother-in-law. I tried my best to stop her from leaving. I told her I love her and I just did what I felt was right. Nobody has to suffer a betrayal like this, and she said it wasn't the right time. I asked her, so when should we tell her the truth? After she gives birth, because it will worsen her postpartum depression, or years after she gives birth, she'll just blame us. She said that we should have just kept quiet and left it alone. I tried hard to stop her, but she didn't listen to me and left. I tried to contact her and her parents and her friends, but they don't know where she is, and instead of interrogating me, saying I am her husband and I should have taken care of her and I know and that I should know where she is. I even visited my brother-in-law to confirm my suspicions, but I didn't see her car or her belongings anywhere. Oh, so you were suspicious she was with the brother-in-law too. I see you. I was too. I was like, she definitely ran over to him. But personally, your wife is still cheating with somebody. I hate I'm being blamed for revealing the truth and my wife leaving me right away without a second thought. I was so upset today. So I called my sister-in-law and told her she can stay at my place because I'm going to my parents and my wife left and nobody knows where she is. She told me she will try talking to her parents after a while, but after a while she called me and said that their parents don't know where she is either. I told her to think about herself and come over here and stay instead of blowing up her money. Now I'm at my parents and her sister-in-law is in our home. Maybe I was being petty, but I hate that my wife gave up on me without a second thought. I don't know whether she is cheating or cheated or she would truly cheat on me and her own blood sister with a family relative over feuds. One thing for sure though, I cannot trust my wife anymore. She hurt me. You know what really sucks in a marriage is like when you find out your partner has different morals than you do. It's a deal breaker. Honestly, these are things like make sure that when you're dating somebody, these are things that you get the information on, like their morality, what they would do in certain situations. Like, try to get, honestly, you don't really know what you would do until you get into certain situations, but just to have like that like mindedness in a conversation, like, okay, we can agree upon that. Because when your partner has different morals than you, It ruins the relationship for sure. Update number 2. Many people ask me for an update, and I also do need some outside perspective over my situation, so here it goes. But before, I just want to clarify and ask people who kept calling me names for oh my god, for telling my sister-in-law the truth. Why you guys kept telling me to mind my business? She's family, and if families don't look out for each other and help each other, who else will? Strangers? And it's not just some harmless small lie from my brother-in-law, it's life-changing. My sister-in-law isn't just my sister-in-law, she is my friend. If I didn't tell her the truth now, then my POS brother-in-law would have just kept cheating and I would lose a friend if I delayed. Anyway, coming back to the update, my sister-in-law only stayed at my place for 2 days, but then after she called me and said that she can't trouble me anymore and she's gonna go live in a hotel. I tried to convince her to not blow her money unnecessarily, but she didn't listen and left anyways. And yes, I am divorcing my wife. After a week of no contact, she called me and said that she wants to reconcile. She said that she was angry I didn't listen to her and went behind her back. She said that she didn't want to break her sister's family, so she wanted to hide it and convince my brother-in-law not to cheat, but I effed it all up and she said that she's coming back. I just asked her to come back because I wanted to talk to her, and it's not something you discuss over calls. Once my wife arrived, I started to explain myself and I told her I am filing for divorce. She was pretty shocked and she said we can make it work, and I told her we can't. I don't trust you after everything you said, and you left me no contact, and then you show up suddenly when I was worried all day about where my wife is or if she's safe. I can't make it work. She tried convincing me to not divorce, but I had already made my intention clear. I told her that her sister stayed at our place for 2 days and she got angry and said, "Fine, let's divorce," and left. I told my sister-in-law I'm getting a divorce. She wasn't happy about it, but she did try to convince me in or out of it, and I told her she can stay with me instead of a hotel. She said it's inappropriate, and I just said either you blow up your money or you struggle, or she can accept my help. So, my sister-in-law have been living together for the last couple of days, and we discussed about our spouses and their behavior. We both got pretty angry about all this. My sister-in-law got even more angry than I was and ended up calling my wife and called her names, and she told me she was hell-bent onto ruining my brother-in-law. She is divorcing him and will go nuclear on him and asked him for as much money as alimony and child support as she wants to. My wife and I didn't talk to each other after she left, but we both know we are divorcing. My sister-in-law, though angry, calmed down because it's unhealthy for her and her baby. She started focusing on career and reading stories about single moms, so she's preparing herself. So, yeah, that's all. And weirdos, stay away. Neither my sister-in-law nor I have feelings between each other. I am helping her, and she wasn't feeling good about it, and that's why she was hesitating so much. Call me moral police, but I know I did the right thing, not just for my sister-in-law, but for me as well. And now I know what kind of woman my wife is. Honestly, though, I'm just gonna say, like, not the asshole, because it's not fair for somebody to have to go through that, especially pregnant. I wouldn't want a pregnant woman living in like some back washed out hotel. Like that's not safe or sanitary for a pregnant lady. And the wife needs help because what is wrong with you, babe? What is wrong with you? Ooh. Okay, so OP has posted a new update, but it's still a part of this story, but it's like another story. So we'll see here. So it says, am I the asshole for celebrating Christmas with my sister-in-law, but my soon-to-be ex-wife is mad and spreading rumors about us having an affair? And that was 1 month later after the update, whenever he said that he has the sister-in-law living with him now. I have made 3 posts prior to this one, and I know nobody wants to go through all that, but I never thought celebrating Christmas with my sister-in-law would cause this much drama. Okay, so he did drop a TLDR, but we already read all of that and we're not going to read it again. Me and my soon-to-be ex are going through legal proceedings and we are going to get divorced 100% because I cannot trust someone who defends cheaters, especially someone who defends a cheater who would cheat on her own sister, her pregnant sister. Yes, Their sister relationship was effed, but it's still wrong for me and my sister-in-law. My sister-in-law going through a divorce process as well, and she's aggressively seeking child support and alimony. So on Christmas, I invited my sister-in-law to celebrate with me. I had already been supporting her financially, and we got closer and became friends because we were both betrayed by our partners. My sister-in-law and I celebrated Christmas with children from both our family, like nephews and nieces, and even their friends joined us for a while. We kind of went overboard and showered them with gifts. But my soon-to-be ex-wife, my TV is listening to me. What are you doing? TV? Nobody asked you. Stop listening. Don't listen. The heck? Anyways, my soon-to-be ex-wife got to know about it and she told everyone in my family that it's us, that we were cheating, and now I'm trying to get married to her sister, which is why I'm divorcing her. Bitch, what the fuck? Excuse me? What is wrong with you? Wifey. Soon-to-be ex-wifey. Who the heck are you? Good lord. I tried to tell them that her defending cheaters is so dumb. And I and my ex-sister-in-law are friends and we celebrated with children, and she herself is pregnant and I was just supporting her. And she also supports me because we're going through so much. But they kept saying that I should take my wife back and do good by her, and spending time with my sister-in-law is not good. And we were cheating, apparently. So, am I the asshole for celebrating Christmas with her and her children from our family? They didn't stay for a long time, but after they left, me and my sister-in-law did spend a lot of time together, but it was just us drinking and talking about the future and what we should do about our partners, and we just vent to each other. Yeah, and so the first comment here on this thread, it says exposing your pregnant wife to diseases, not to mention risking her and her life, incredibly complicated in case a fair partner gets pregnant. I very much don't trust cheaters to use protection. Yeah, see, that's what these people are saying here. Honestly, it is actually, like, that's what I was trying to say. Like, you want this pregnant woman to stay in this dirty hotel. Well, we don't know how dirty hotels are, but they do have like germs and stuff. Because some hotels, even the nicest of hotels, they don't really clean them that well. And if somebody is cheating and they're not using protection, that is so scary for a pregnant person. Like, not cool. Okay, story number 2. Am I the asshole for refusing to let my ex-husband's wife homeschool my children? I, 31 female, share 2 children, 9 male and 8 female, with my ex-husband, Aaron, 35 male. Aaron's cheating ended our marriage. Well, here goes another cheating story. And before long, he'd moved in with Nicole, 34 female, and her children, 11, 10, 8, and 6. Aaron and Nicole have a 2-year-old together, and they're expecting another child. This was mentioned as a problem before they were even married, but I ignored them. Now it has come up again, and they are being a thorn in my side about it. Nicole said it's unfair for her children to see mine go to school while hers don't. She told me her kids have become jealous and it's causing issues for her parenting and for her and Aaron's family. Well, guess what? He shouldn't have cheated with you. So don't sleep with married men who have kids. Maybe that's also an option. I told her it was not my problem and she needed to figure out how to manage that. As that is the life of blended families. Not everything will be the same or equal for kids from different marriages. Yep, and that's what you wanted, babe, and you came in with 4 kids of your own. So, from a different marriage. So, I don't know. What happens if your ex-husband has kids with somebody else? Are you going to try to homeschool those kids too? Like, what? Aaron asked me to homeschool a few times, and I told him that I would not entertain the idea. He even asked the kids who were worried. He even asked the kids who were worried when they came to me about it. They didn't want to leave their friends and teachers, and they didn't want to stay home all day like Nicole's kids. I reassured them that I would not be saying yes to homeschooling. Now Nicole and Aaron are on a mission to make me agree to homeschooling my kids alongside hers. Apparently, they have the 2-year-old started on some form of pre-K homeschooling, and they feel it's only fair for my kids to join in too, and I said no. I even had my lawyer send their lawyer a letter officially stating my position on this. My lawyer has also documented everything. They asked their lawyer to take this back to court to get a judge overruled, but me and their lawyer told them this would not go in their favor. My ex was so unhappy about it that he told me all of this, and it gave me the chance to document that also. Now they're claiming I don't have a good reason to refuse other than to disrupt their home and to keep Nicole from playing a bigger role in the lives of my children, and to prevent my siblings bonding between Nicole's kids and mine. I told them I had many reasons to say no, and they just needed to accept it, and I stopped replying. But since the school ended for the summer, I have been given pressure from them over this. They are worried that I'll send them to school in September as planned, which will happen. I feel like the kids wanting to go to school should also count, and I told Aaron this before. So, am I the asshole for not being willing to try? Is it really hard to believe that I just want my kids to attend school normally? A relevant comment here says, if her kids are jealous of the step siblings going to school, I think there's a simple solution. Send them all to school. And honestly, I agree to that. And if those, listen, and if Nicole, if your kids are going to school and they realize, oh, I don't actually like this, I want to homeschool again, give them the option. Your kids should have an option. When I was in school, I didn't get the option and I had to go to school every day, even though I wanted to homeschool. I would have rather homeschooled than go to regular school. I was bullied so much in school. And then after I left in high school from where I was at, that I got bullied really bad, and then I went to a Christian school. Now, don't get me wrong, I did like that school. The only thing is I didn't really like the uniforms. The skirts were really, really long. I just feel like your kids should have the option because when it comes to learning and children learning, the more they are into the learning, the better off they will be because they will actually retain that information instead of just memorizing whatever you're giving them and eating it up and then not, you know what I mean? Like putting it in the back of their head and then they forget all of it because that's not, and while I'm someone that does agree that homeschooling is a lot better than mainstream schooling because it's very, I don't agree with a lot of things that the schools do. I think a lot of teachers are underpaid. There's always some type of pew pew going on in the schools. It's unsafe for everybody in school. So you have to think too, like, I get wanting to homeschool, but if somebody wants to send their kids to school, you can't really, and unfortunately, Aaron, you cheated. So maybe don't cheat on people and maybe they'll actually care about your opinion. Story number 3. Am I the asshole for telling my wife I can't accept her going on solo weekend trips with her platonic guy friend anymore? My wife, 35 female, and I, 36 male, have been together for nearly a decade, married for 7 years. Our relationship has always been built on trust, and I've never considered myself jealous or the controlling type. She's always had male friends, and it was never an issue until recently. Enter Tyler, 40 male. She met him on a hiking group about a year ago. He's married, outdoorsy, and bonded over the love of nature and adventure. I met him a couple of times and he seemed decent enough. At first, I had zero worries. But then things shifted. Just a few months ago, my wife told me she and Tyler were planning a weekend hiking trip. Just the two of them. Oh. No group, no spouses. Just them alone overnight in some remote area. I hesitated. It felt off, but I didn't want to be that husband who throws a fit, so I swallowed my discomfort and let it ride. She went, came back, and everything appeared normal. No drama, but a couple of weeks later, she announced they wanted to do another weekend away. Again, just the two of them, and that was the moment I drew a line. Which, honestly, if you're having an issue, it's good to set a boundary and say, "Hey, I'm not really comfortable with this. Can we not?" And it's best to say it early than to keep saying yes and letting resentment build. So, I told her flat out I wasn't comfortable with it. I explained spending nights away in the wilderness one on one with another man, even supposedly platonic friend, didn't feel right to me as her husband. I wasn't accusing her of cheating or having bad intentions, but I made it clear the arrangement crossed a boundary that I couldn't ignore. I told her I wasn't trying to control her choices, that she's free to do what she wants, but if she insisted on going forward with these private overnight trips, then I couldn't keep pretending everything was okay in our marriage. I said if she kept dismissing my feelings, I'd have to rethink the whole relationship. She got angry, calling me controlling and paranoid, insisting I was trying to cage her and that doesn't come with conditions. Oh, and that trust doesn't come with conditions. To top it off, her best friend, who's always had a bit of a crunchy, free spirited vibe, chimed in and told me I was being insecure and trying to police my wife's independence. Now my wife is furious and I feel like a villain. I'm second guessing myself, but I truly believe there's a line between trust, blind naivety, and I feel like this crossed it. So, Reddit, am I the asshole for refusing to accept the overnight solo trips with another man anymore? The relevant comment says, the first comment here says, not the asshole. It's okay to have boundaries. You allowed her to do it before despite your feelings, but now this makes you uncomfortable. It sounds like you're not cutting off them hanging out. You just think it crosses the line to go overnights alone. To me, it's a red flag. And to me, it's a red flag that she is furious, which I agree with that comment. If you want to spend the overnight in the woods with a man, I mean, I'm not really a hiker, so I can't really say specifically whether or not that's like okay to do, but people that do like those TV shows where they go on like survival together, but they're on TV, you know what I mean? So like everybody is going to see what they're doing anyways. But I feel like it's just not like, is he telling his wife? Because I think he said he was married, right? Is the other guy telling his wife he's going alone with some woman on these trips, or is he just saying he's going alone? I don't know. I think maybe they could all go together. And like, if they wanted to do more extensive hiking, then the other two, like the wife and the husband, can stay behind, like OP, and the other guy's wife can stay behind and like, make the food and camp out or whatever, and they can just come back from their extensive hike. But I don't know. I don't think I would really feel comfortable with my spouse being alone in the woods with some man I don't really know. I feel like maybe get to know him better, because what if they get lost too, and then you don't know this guy's wife or his contact? You know what I mean? Like y'all need to know people's stuff. Okay, when you're married and you have an emergency contact is the person you're married to, you need to know like people you can get a hold of if they're going to be alone in the woods with somebody. That is very important. But anyways, guys, I think he's not the asshole. But what do you think? I don't know. I say he's not the asshole. Story number 4 says, am I the asshole for not giving my sister the name I planned for my baby? I, 29 female, am currently 32 weeks pregnant with my first child. My husband, 31 male, and I found out we were expecting a baby girl early on, and we are very excited. Congratulations, OP. Ever since I was a teenager, I loved the name Leela. Lila. Sorry, she literally put the pronunciation after I said it. So, Lila. It was my great grandmother's name and has always had a deep sentimental value for me. It's soft, elegant, and feels right. My younger sister, 26 female, let's call her Rachel, is not pregnant and she's not trying. But she and her fiance have a baby name list that they've been working on together for a couple of years. Totally fine, whatever. About 2 weeks ago, I had my baby shower and officially announced that her name would be Lila Grace. Rachel went quiet and then later pulled me aside, upset. She said that she had Lila on her list for years too, and that I knew that. Honestly, I didn't know. She said I beat her to it and that it wasn't fair because she's always wanted her first daughter to have that name. I was kind of stunned and said, well, I'm sorry, but this has been my name forever. I literally told mom I'd name my daughter Lila since I was like 15. I'm already attached to it. She told me that she thought I would choose a different name since I didn't mention it during her engagement party when the baby names come up in passing. I told her I didn't feel the need to check in with her hypothetical future child before naming my very real one. Now she's being cold with me and even told some of our family that I stole her name and undermined her dream. My mom thinks Rachel is being dramatic, but my mom thinks Rachel is being very dramatic, but also says I could have compromised by changing the spelling or middle name. My husband is firmly on my side and said we're not giving up our daughter's name because your sister made a Pinterest board. So, am I the asshole for sticking with the name I wanted, even if it upsets my sister? First comment says, not the asshole, so tired of people thinking that they have a patent to a person's name. Second comment says, not the asshole, two of my cousins have the same name and they never feel annoyed by that. It's just a name. Most of the comments here say not the asshole. I do agree with that. I don't think you're an asshole. I think your sister is overreacting a little bit. I mean, how many names does she have on this Pinterest list? Like, is she gonna get pissed because, like, Susie at work is naming their kid the same name as that she wants, you know? Like, is she gonna, like, police everybody's baby names? Like, you can't do that. I think personally, if she wanted to, though, she could give like a different name, but just do the middle name like Lila. So since you did Lila Grace, she could do like, I don't know, another girl name, but then make Lila the middle name. So that way you both get to kind of honor the grandma. You know what I'm trying to say? Or she could give her like three names. That's not unheard of. If she did like Abigail, Lay, Lila, and then the last name or something. I don't know. I'm not coming up with baby names here on the spot at like freaking 1 o'clock in the morning. But again, like I don't know. I just feel like it's just kind of weird, man. Like you can just use it as a middle name. You don't have to have it as the first name. And the fact is like she beat me to it, babe. Get pregnant then. Get pregnant faster. You obviously if you're trying to like raise somebody, you're just gonna have to get, jiggy with your husband a little bit more often, babe. Anyways, that was the end of that story, and we are moving on to our next story. Am I the asshole for posting my Amazon registry link online after my family tricked me? I, 18 female, am starting college in August. My birthday is also in August. I have never been close with my dad's side of the family as they live far away and I prefer to talk to my cousins. My grandmother reached out recently and told me to make an Amazon registry for the things I would like for college and my birthday. I must say, I started a part time job and already started my college shopping because I'm an only child and would like to help my parents. When my grandmother told me to make the registry, I made sure to send the links to products I wanted and ask if it was okay to add. She said yes and told me that she would get my aunties to buy off of it too. The most expensive thing on my list, which was a tablet and other things, ranged from $9 to $71. All things I made sure to ask if they were okay to add. Fast forward to last week, after sending the registry link from the week before, I realized nothing was on. Fast forward to last week, after sending the registry link from the week before, I realized nothing was bought. I brushed it off and continued about my week. My cousin, 19 female, called me to tell me that grandma and her aunts are buying her a laptop and won't contribute to my registry. I didn't fuss, I didn't complain, I just told her congratulations and hung up. Knowing that I would be able to pull together the money for the things on my list, my friend suggested I post the link to X to see if anybody would like to contribute. I did, and somehow one of my cousins found the post and told my grandmother and aunts, and now I'm being labeled as entitled and an embarrassment for asking for help. So am I the asshole? How do you tell somebody, "Oh, I'll help you. Send me the link or whatever. Make this link for me so that I can buy stuff." And then you turn around and you're like, "No, I'm going to get this instead for your cousin." And then not even have enough heart to come to you personally to tell you, hey, I don't have enough money to support both of y'all, but I've decided to support cousin. Like, and then to get mad because you posted it online and to call you selfish and greedy. You are not greedy. And majority of the comments here are saying not the asshole, and I agree. Because it also, yeah, you said too, it's also your birthday. Babe, if honestly, and I don't even care if this is like after you started college or whatever, if you don't have everything you need and there's still a couple things you need, I'm not going to be able to buy the tablet or whatever, but I can get the $9 things that you're going to need like pencils, notebooks, paper. I don't know what you guys need for college nowadays because most things are digital. But any of those things that you need, like headphones, like, those like little skull candy headphones or something, I can definitely get those. Because what the hell is that? That really pisses me off. Anyways, moving along to our next story. Make sure you stay hydrated. I just don't want to drink too much because after this, I'm going to bed and I don't want to be up using the bathroom all night. But my mouth is dry. So, this next story. Okay, so. Am I the asshole for ruining my best friend's wedding and likely our decades long friendship? Throwaway account here. This is a long one, but it's as condensed as I can get it. So, this happened just a few days ago, and I'm still feeling guilty over what happened. This weekend was my best friend Christian, 30 male's wedding, and I, 30 male, had the honor of being the best man. Christian and I have been best friends for almost 20 years. He was the best man at my own wedding, and our wives are close too, all the good stuff. The night of the rehearsal dinner arrives. Everyone's ready to have a great time. Then, about 10 minutes into the event, I looked over and noticed that my wife, Jasmine, 30 female, is shaking and talking in a panic about something to one of the bridesmaids. I walk over to see what's up, and the bridesmaid tell me that she witnessed Christian's dad, Robert, 50 male, walk up to my wife and rub her butt multiple times. Then he says to Jasmine, loud enough for the other bridesmaid and her 10-year-old daughter to hear, mind you, essentially, I get to touch you now because it's my son's wedding. I'm 20 feet away. Robert's wife is 20 feet away. Christian is 20 feet away, but that didn't seem to stop Robert, though. I immediately see red, but my wife begs me not to do anything. Let me tell you that in over a decade together with Jasmine, I have never once allowed something like this to just slide. And frankly, there's hardly been anyone who has had the guts to disrespect my wife at all while I'm around. I'm trying my best to not walk up and hit the guy as hard as I can as if he weren't my best friend's dad and it wasn't a wedding, I 100% would have ended up in jail for doing something violent. Mind you, I've known Robert for about as long as I've known Christian. Always thought he was cool before this. Maybe this old dude thought that we were cool enough that he could assault my wife whenever he wants. Finally, I lose my cool and walk up to Robert, who's nearby and kind of by himself. I put his arm around him and say, "Hey, Robert, no more of that." He plays dumb at first, acting like he doesn't know what I mean, so I repeat myself. You know what I'm talking about. No more of that. Finally, he seems to get it, stutters some kind of, okay, and we go our separate ways. IMO, it should have stopped there. Unfortunately, it seems some of Robert's family may have overheard what happened. All of a sudden, rumors start flying across the wedding. People know something happened. People are giving my wife dirty looks as Robert and his wife disappear for hours, presumably to fight. Whatever. We get through rehearsal night, then the next morning, as soon as people are getting ready, Robert approaches me alone and tries to give me a little, we cool? Fist bump. It's been less than 12 hours since it happened at this point, so I tell him flat out, nah, we ain't cool, bruh. He just doesn't get the picture. Hours later, the bridesmaids are getting ready. He approaches me again and asks, where's Jasmine? Is she getting dressed? I see red again and immediately say, don't talk about her. He gets all offended and walks away. Luckily, this was my last direct interaction with him for the weekend. Of course, though, Robert then decides it's time to go find my wife again when I'm not there to try and apologize. Jasmine just says, get away from me. Finally, Robert gets it. We don't want apologies, we want to be left alone. Still, the vibe is off the rest of the time. Robert is sulking, his wife is getting Jasmine dirty looks, and Christian's entire family are whispering every time we are around. It eventually already got back to Christian. He never talked to me about what happened, never checked in to see if my wife was okay. For reference, I would defend his new wife to the grave if anyone ever tried the same stuff with her. The kicker was at the end of the weekend, he said goodbyes to everyone but Jasmine and I. Seems pretty clear he's chosen his side. We haven't spoken since. Should I have just let it slide? 5% of me says yes for the sake of peace and my friendship with Christian, but 95% of me also says I stopped something worse from happening. Remember, the guy couldn't keep his hands to himself for more than 10 minutes into the rehearsal. So, am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Somebody was literally assaulting your wife, like a grown man assaulting your wife, and you stuck up for her. And any husband out there, okay, green flag goes to OP, because any husband should always stick up for their wife. You always stick up for your spouse. It doesn't matter what your friend thinks, your spouse comes first. You guys live together. You have to go home with her. You did the right thing. There's also an edit. Appreciate you all so much. This is making me realize the position my friend is in and is likely extremely awkward, and we will need to have a conversation. At the wedding itself, I really wanted nothing to get back to him or ruin the wedding, which is why we haven't talked about it. We all just got home last night. Jasmine and Christian's wife are meeting up for usual drinks tomorrow night, and Jasmine has resolved to tell her everything. They are very close, so I'm sure Christian's wife will believe mine. But that being said, I'm not sure things will ultimately fall. In the meantime, or coming days, I do have to come up with a way to reach out to Christian. I want to keep the friendship if I can, for sure. We've been through honestly everything together. Yeah, and honestly, if anybody is upset at anyone, people should be upset with Robert. But I could understand maybe feeling like you don't know what to say in the moment, so that you kind of just don't say anything. But I also don't really feel like that's a good way to go. You could also just say, hey, I'm really sorry this happened. I don't have any words to say right now other than I'm sorry, but can we please talk about it at a later time? And let that be it. People who know how to communicate and are, they will understand. So after the edit, we do have an update. All right, guys, thank you again to everyone who gave me advice. You're all strangers, and yet you couldn't have been any kinder to me in a trying time. For your sake, I wish I could say that this has more interesting ending, but most of you were right. Christian is disgusted by his dad and is fully on Jasmine and I's side. We're still bros, and he apologized profusely to my wife when she stopped over to meet with his wife. We've spoken since, and it's all good now. Who knows how Christian's relationship with Robert will go from here on out, but all things considered, I'm fine where things landed. Sorry for anyone expecting more drama. I'm just glad to have my brother back. Honestly, I'm really glad that he understands like the severity of the situation. I'm also glad that he's not okay with what his dad did, and yes, it's embarrassing. So I can see where maybe he kind of was like didn't know how to talk to you about it, probably, because that is like really freaking embarrassing. But hopefully you guys can continue being really good friends, and hopefully his perverted dad stays the hell away from all of you. But that is the end of that story. And we are moving on to our next story, which is, am I the asshole? Sold her shoes since she sold my magic collection. I, 23 male, had a collection of Magic the Gathering cards that I kept in my storage locker under my bed. My girlfriend, 22 female, recently took my storage locker to a local card shop and sold my whole collection. The shop owner is shady for accepting to cut my lock off. Wait, what the heck? I got upset with my girlfriend and asked why she sold them. Her response being, you don't play anymore. Between work, school, and her, I don't have the time for any of my hobbies. Hey, babe, knock knock. Newsflash. You're a girlfriend. You're not the wife. You don't have the right. And even a wife doesn't have the right to touch somebody's locked items. I hope he sues you. You could sue her. Sue her, OP, because that is disgusting. I told my girlfriend to get out of my apartment and that her selling my stuff was a perfect reason to break up with her. Okay, OP, it sure the freak is, because what? Y'all don't even live together and she's stealing your stuff out of your own house or apartment. Uh, no, ma'am. No, 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 no. See, you guys, what the, like, did she just, like, break in and steal? Babe, that is, like, a felony. How much were those cards worth? If they were over $2,000 that she got from selling your stuff, did she keep the money? Did she keep the money or she gave you the money? I don't know. Let's read the rest of the story. She started crying and began to say hateful things, which I ignored. I locked myself in the bathroom waiting for her to leave. When she did, I gathered all of her shoes. This probably makes me an a-hole and sold them. Nah, it doesn't because she sold all of your cards and didn't even give you the money for it. Sell all of her stuff and get all your money back for those cards. She found out and went off on me. I told her, well, you never wear them. I never asked for the extra key to my apartment because I told her we needed to end things, but she refused to give it back. Tell your apartment complex to change your locks. Am I the asshole? Also, how does one get the key back? Like I said, talk to whoever you're renting from, have them change the locks, file a police report for breaking and entering, and try to sell all the stuff that she left at your house and maybe try to buy your cards back from whoever she sold them to, if that's even possible, to be honest with you. But if you have like a court order for them back, then she should give you the money for what does she need the money for? What I don't understand. She sold the stuff and then never gave you the money for selling your stuff. What like she obviously needed money for something. I don't know. That's weird. There is an edit here. My mom showed up with donuts. We talked to the landlord and he got a good laugh. I didn't tell him everything, just that I had a bad breakup and trusted the wrong person. He told me it happens often. He also flirted with my mama. Good on her, nearly 50 and still getting hit on. My ex is coming by to grab her belongings and I'm giving her the shoe money rounded up. No, she agreed to give me the collection money. Is she better? Because what the F? I hope this is the end of it. I really don't think I want to handle anything legal. I miss my collection. Guess at the end of the day, I'm too lazy to bother. Great advice from everyone, though. Thank you. I'm going to be much more careful with my keys and dating life. But yeah, the comments here are basically saying not the asshole, but they're all saying like, dude, file a police report and get your stuff back. It seems like OP doesn't really want to do that though, which I mean, if it were me, that's theft. She broke into your apartment, doesn't matter she has a key. She broke in and she stole your stuff. She never asked you and she was gonna keep the money because she didn't agree to give it back until you said something, right? Because what the heck? And then, of course, she didn't like it when you did it back to her. So that was the end of that story. And moving on to the next one, we have am I the asshole for telling my parents that I am not their son and they need to let go? Sorry for the confusing title, but I'll explain. My parents had 4 kids before me, 19 male, my older brother, and 3 older sisters. My older brother passed away when he was 14, before I was born. His passing away was what sparked my parents to have me. They were lost to grief and tried to rebirth him through me, aka wanted to have another child and make me my brother. That is so twisted and sad. My sisters were all old enough to remember our brother, to know what our parents were doing, and they didn't like it. I look so much like him except for our eyes. He had brown eyes and I had blue eyes. That's the only noticeable physical difference. But it brought out even the more but it brought out even more of the worst in our parents. There were times that they were very loving and all about me, but once the illusion that I wasn't my brother was shattered, they were distant and cold. My sisters were just cold. They told me I would never be their brother and I wasn't. Oh my God. They told me I would never be their brother and because I wasn't their other brother. That is so sad. Even though I already knew that and I never thought I was him, there was a lot of anger, resentment, and rage aimed at me because they hate our parents tried to replace him. Questions were asked in school about my name, the way I dressed, and the way my hair was done and stuff because my parents named me after him and they put his old clothes on me. What? It made me keep my hair a certain length until I was 13. I went and shaved it all off and tried to become me, not him. is that like child abuse? That's child abuse. My sisters were all moved out at that point and only came to visit our parents. Babe, your sisters are way too old to be acting like that. They should know their parents are weirdos and treat you better. My parents never acknowledged the resentment or the rejection of my sisters to me. Whenever I tried to mention it, they would shut down because it was so unlike my brother. I I had educational neglect too. I have two learning disabilities, but my brother never had, so I wasn't allowed and I never got very far in school. I had to keep friends away from my house too because it was too much of a mind F when I was younger. Birthday parties were a big issue because my parents were obviously grief and poor mental health, which meant it would be awkward around other parents and adults present. It left me answering a lot of questions. There were times my parents were faced with being told I wasn't my brother and I was the youngest son, but anyone who tried basically walked out of their lives. It was mostly their friends. I never remember extended family. I don't even know if there is extended family or if they came from a big family or small families. The last few years I lived at home were the worst because they were flip-flopping. They could go months of thinking I was him and then months of ignoring me and shutting me out and nothing to do with me. During lockdown in particular, it was bad. When I turned 18, my girlfriend's parents let me move in, and that's where I have been ever since. I didn't speak to my parents for over a year, but I did reach out to my sister, and they made it clear where they stood in not wanting me in their lives and not seeing me as their brother. That's something I'm still working to make peace with. As much as it might hurt, I don't blame them. I'm not sure if I blame my parents, but a part of me does, I think. Honestly, your parents, though, are part of the reason why they feel so much resentment is because they were probably forced to pretend that you were somebody, and they probably never really got to grieve either because your parents are obviously abusive and they were obviously abusing you, which means they were also kind of abusing the sisters a little bit too. I don't really know because besides what you've said, but it sounds like sisters are definitely trying to process in their own way. Maybe give them some time to like process their own grieving of their, the older brother. That way, when you do cuz you're on your own now, right? So when you're starting to be your own person and you look different, it might trigger them a little bit, but I think like in the future, maybe give it a couple of years and maybe ask if your sisters would like to go to like family therapy together because you guys definitely, I mean, even individually, you guys definitely need therapy and maybe cut the parents off and just let them be alone because that is just, I don't know if there's any fixing that. My parents led a long cycle of wanting nothing to do with me and reached out a bunch of times wanting me to come home and asking why I left without saying anything and telling me they needed their son back. Instead of talking over the phone or texting them, I went to see them and told them face to face I am not their son. I'm not the I am not who they keep trying to make me. I can never be him. And I don't think a relationship between us would ever be healthy. But they need to let go and accept I am not their son. The reason I said it like that is because they never saw me as me, only him. I had to leave right after saying it because they were both in the middle of a meltdown, and a few days later, I got a DM from my sisters congratulating me on effing their parents up even more. That wasn't what I wanted to do, but I really don't know how to handle it, so am I the asshole? Not the asshole. And your sister DMing you, telling you, thanks a lot, dude. Like you are 100% in the right to stick up for yourself when somebody is abusing you, literally. So what are you supposed to do? Pretend to be someone that you're not just to make them happy so the sisters don't have to deal with it? No. That is ooh. That just really really pissed me off. All right, you guys, that is going to be the end of that episode. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please make sure that you give me a like and subscribe down below. This is our sixth episode, so we have 5 other episodes for you to watch. Plus, I also post daily on all of my socials, which I have Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube, obviously. I also post on my personal accounts, and I also post the threads on my personal accounts if you guys want to follow me on there. The threads is linked to my Instagram, and on YouTube, I do have links to my other channels on here. And we also have our own late night yap subreddit. So if you just search r/late night yap, you will be able to find our little community. And if you want to submit your own stories, you absolutely can. If you don't feel comfortable submitting them with your own profile, you can make a fake profile, like a throwaway account. Or if you want to DM me personally on the Late Night Yap Instagram profile, you are more than welcome to do that. And I will keep your name private. And we can also like change names. You don't have to use like real names. We can use fake names, whatever you want to do. And I can tell your story on my socials and you'll get a exclusive story read time for me. And that'd be fun. I also thought about like maybe reading some of my own stories that I have in my life because I have some pretty crazy stories. But I'm not going to tell you guys. Listen, we're going to do something. I'm going to write my own stories and then I'm going to let you guys be the detectives and tell me whether or not you think it's my story or not. So if I read a story, it might be mine that I wrote myself. Who knows? Who knows? We'll see. But anyways, I hope you all have a good day, night, whatever time it is that you are watching this. And I will see you all next time. Bye.